Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Focus on Gaming podcast, episode 63. Just me and Duncan this week. How are you? Duncan?
I'm all good, all good.
Good to hear.
I have been playing quite a bit today, but nothing this week. Nothing's been jumping out at me though. So, but I'm looking forward to the week coming. And there has been some news, hasn't there? Though, so we're not going to be struggling to find too much to talk about this week. I think Sony's helping us again. Anyway, what have you been playing recently? Because were you with us last week? I can't remember.
I was with you.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was all three of us last week. I can't remember. I don't think I mentioned anything last week apart from Tetris. So yeah, this week I have been playing games other than Tetris. Still been playing Tetris as well. So
have you managed to beat your score yet? Your own score?
Yeah, I beat Tom's score as well, but I haven't posted it because I was thinking he'll just beat it again, and it'll just be a horrible spiral. Then aren't me trying. But
he'll hear this, and
this is a test to see if he actually watches it. But yeah, I got 320,000 on it.
What?
I know. It came out the blue though, so.
Wow! Oh my goodness! I mean, just if anybody hasn't heard previous episodes, I gave up at I think about 70,000. I gave up, and that got pretty fast. And I thought, yeah, even if I do get a little higher than that, I'm not going to get much higher. And Tom and Martin between themselves have got over 100,000. Oh, then it was over 150,000. Then Tom just went straight to I think about 250,000, didn't they?
Yeah, I had 120, and that was like the high score for a bit. And then Tom got.
I think it's about.
No, I think I got to about 190 or something. And then Tom got it to 120. And then I got to like 148, and I was like, "Oh, brilliant!" And then Tom posted 248,000. I was like, "Well, I've never beaten 100,000."
No, I don't know. I dread to think how fast it was going on your screens.
And then I got it to 320, which was I can't remember what level it was, but I found sort of a new technique, not to bore people, but that obviously you press the space bar to instantly go down, you get more points. But when I get to about level 9 or 10, where it starts getting a bit quick, I just stop using the space bar, and then it feels like I'm going back to level 1 for a bit because
my old brain just can't deal with things that fast nowadays. I don't know. Maybe it is I'm just getting old, but no, I don't think I was never fantastic at Tetris. I was all right when I had it on the Game Boy, but no, I think I was right giving up at about 70,000. This Tetris.com/play, I think, is the one that we use, isn't it?
Yes.
So if anybody wants to try and beat 320,000, I just try and beat 70,000 is easy enough for most people, but no, I that just staggers me that you got up to that score.
Yeah, I have to send over I did screenshot it because I just didn't bother sending it because I was like, I just know it'll. Yeah, he'll.
Well, the thing is, you're quite happy to be at the top, but then you know that he'll come back. Even if he comes back with 321, you'll be. I really want to beat that again.
Yeah, I'm not going to play that because
I'm quite happy to just nowadays just go, oh, you're better than me. Excellent. That's good for you.
Well, yeah, I don't mind someone beating me, but I'm quite competitive, so I guess I would probably try and then you just got this.
Well, is this what you like in Skittles as well? When you play Skittles.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Skittles, you can't just keep playing it over and over again. So
mulligan.
So, but yeah, other than that, I played today. I played Starfield. I thought I'd give it a go because something I've been wanting to play for quite a while because I've had Game Pass for almost a year now. But just
have you not actually played it?
No, I just didn't want to play it because I was thinking just with the time and stuff. So I was like, when I do go for it, I want to make sure it's going to be when and then I just forgot about it. And then I was looking at things to play today, and I was like, well, you know what? Why not? So I set up my character, created my me, essentially. Did you pick your background, don't you, and your traits and stuff? And I played it probably for about, not long, about an hour. I did the mission where you go and kill the pirate.
Yeah.
So I just done that, and then I turned it off because my children came home at that point. So like, well, I'll
some peace and quiet.
It's a good sort of time to come off it. But yeah, so far pretty.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've only got to, you haven't really got to the main crux of the story yet, and the very first mission is where you go and get the relic, isn't it? I think
yeah. So you do the mine. You're mining, aren't you? And then you touch this relic, and something happens, and then that's when you wake up and you do your character.
Okay.
Yeah, and then some guy comes to get the relic, and then you end up, some pirates follow him or whatever, and then you end up taking his ship, and you go in. So
that guy becomes your friend. So, well,
Barrett,
if you want to be friendly with him, he does become one of the people that you can interact with quite nicely. It's quite appropriate you've been playing that, though, because the day that this episode comes out is the Shattered Space DLC is released on the 30th of September. So, yeah, quite looking forward to that. It's, quite separate. Like, it's nothing to do with the story of the main game, I believe, by the looks of it. There's some random station in the middle of nowhere and lots of horror and different alien beings that you have to fight and whatnot. So yeah, that's hopefully going to be good. I'll be playing it tomorrow. So next episode, we'll have a review or work in progress of it. So yeah, I think with how far you've got into it, you haven't even touched the surface yet.
No,
you haven't had the opportunity to go to the different planets freely yet.
I can see it's going to be quite a.
Although I did the usual thing that a lot of people do in these big games, and the first world that you go on, where the base is, I can't remember what it's called, not Neon. But anyway, the first big city that you go to, kind of thing, or town, and I just stayed on that for about 25 hours, 30 hours. I really annoy myself by doing that, because it was what was the game? It was a Dragon Age Inquisitions, where one of the developers came out and just said, just please leave the hinterlands, because everybody was just doing everything in this first area, and it was huge.
No one was exploring.
And as soon as you left it, you were like, oh, that's just a tiny part of it. But you could stay there for 30, 40 hours if you wanted to. And yeah, it was a huge area. And I did the same with Starfield. I go to a place and I make sure I find every little nook and cranny, and I talk to everybody, do as many missions as I can, and then I look at my jobs to do, and it's like, on this planet, this planet, this planet, this planet. I'm like, I haven't been anywhere except for this one city. So yeah. So yeah, I would advise, if you do get to play it some more, just get out there and start exploring the planets.
I will. Well, yeah. So the very little what I've played of it so far, I've enjoyed it. It does remind me a lot of Fallout so far, with the. Obviously, you don't have the max system, but just with the connection of like items and stuff. I know I've already seen there's like a place where you can sort of craft stuff together. So
I love the gun, like the gunplay in Starfield. I think it's, yes, it hasn't got VATS, but the actual gunplay is better than Fallout games.
I did.
It's more of an action game than Fallout is. Fallout is a bit like Skyrim, where sort of the RPG is the main game, whereas Starfield, if I suppose that is what a lot of people didn't like about it, is that it didn't feel as epic, even though you were going on to different planets, and it was more of an action game. But it opens up a lot. But there is a lot of loading screens, so that complaint is valid. When you go from one planet to another, you can just fast travel if you want to a completely different planet. Sometimes, if you've been there before, you can just use the map, go to a place, click fast travel, and bing, you're on a different planet. But that's only after you've already been there, I believe. So I can't remember. It's been quite a while. It's been out a year, hasn't it? It was September last year.
It has been, yeah, well. And I could have. I think I had Game Pass when it was. I think it was.
It's when you got your new TV, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think it was out when I had it. So, but I just was thinking, I don't have enough time at the moment to commit to it. And then I just forgot about it. And then today I was looking, because I've been moaning that there's just nothing really to play at the moment. And then I was thinking, actually, I got if Starfield was out this week, I'd be really excited to play it. So I was like, why have I not just tried it? So
I think I took about 70, maybe 80 hours to complete the main story.
Okay, it's quite a large game.
And that was doing a lot of side missions. That wasn't going as fast as possible. So, take that as you will. I mean, some people would say for a Bethesda game, that's not that much. But without giving too much away, I could play it for a lot more hours.
You got the DLC as well now.
And I've got the DLC, which is coming out the day that this episode comes out. So and I can't believe it's taken a year for that to go out.
So hopefully in the other episodes I will be able to update you with my progress. But the other game played.
You've got a lot of extras as well. There's apparently like a moon buggy now that you could drive on the planets, so you can go faster. And lots of other quality of life updates. So yeah. So sorry, you were saying something else you were playing.
Yeah, the other game I've been playing is Hollow Knight. So I had a little go on that. Probably only a few hours on Hollow Knight. So again, not done too much on it.
So Metroidvania, quite tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it's difficult. I always find, I don't know if it's my age, but every game I play now, I always thought, it's been really difficult.
No, I think it is designed to be it's not From Software tough, but it is designed to be pretty hard.
Yeah, I think so. I've killed one boss on it so far, and that probably took me about a good 10-15 goes to do it. The most annoying thing, because the game I've really enjoyed it, but when you die, you do not die close to where you were. So
you have to find your way back.
You got to travel back there.
Oh.
And everything's respawned, so you got to kill. You don't have to. You can just jump over them, but you're having to get past the monsters that you've already killed, and you lose all your stuff. You have to kill your spirit essentially when you get to the space, and then you get everything you dropped. But that was the most, because I don't mind retrying something on a From Software game. I would just fight the same boss over and over and over again until I beat them, and I didn't mind that because you would just be right where right before the boss fight. So
there's normally a campfire somewhere nearby, isn't there?
Yeah. Whereas this was it was taking me about, because nowhere, I was looking, I was thinking it was taking me about a couple 5 minutes to just get to the boss again. And
it would then kill you in about 30 seconds.
And then you would die, and you'd be like, okay, I've got to do that.
Because you can't learn their routine, can you? If it's 5 minutes between fighting them, because it's hang on a minute, also they do, and then you forget, oh yes, after they jump, they fire this or something like that. That would really frustrate. I've played Hollow Knight, but only for 20 minutes kind of thing, so I barely got through the introduction.
So that was the
they're
worst.
not mine. I knew it was a tough game, so I sort of went into it going, yeah, I'm probably not going to play this for a long time. But there's a sequel apparently that's in a bit of development hell.
Song.
Yeah, it was meant to be a DLC, but then they made it too much content, so they're going to make it a sequel. But then I think it's missed a few, not deadlines, but a few sort of announcements, or there hasn't been much announcement about it. So yeah, so I'm afraid you have to stick with the first one. I think I owned it on PC, even though I don't particularly. It's not a game I particularly play. It's one of these. I think it came in some bundle. I might have a go, but like you, I don't like retracing my steps every 5 seconds. Oh, look, I've unlocked this door that's opened up this way, and I've got to remember how to get back there. Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, well, getting there was fun because that's like, but yeah, it just took a long time, and that was the worst, especially when you kept dying, because it would be so bad if I died maybe once or twice. But yeah, it must have been like 15, 20 times it took me to finally kill this boss, and I probably spent more time traveling to the boss actually fighting. But yeah, when I beat him, it was quite satisfying because I was like, there's one point I was like, okay, because you would hit him down, and then you like smash him on the head, and then he would regenerate, and then you would do it over again. And I was like, I think after 2, I was like, okay, it must be 3 times you got to do it, and I did. But I kept doing it. I kept getting him down twice, and on the 3rd time, he kept killing him. And then I got the 3rd time, and he got up again, and I was like, I can't believe it! Like, how many times I have to keep. And then he like collapsed through the level. So I was like, oh, okay, it was only 3 times. But he looked like he was coming back for more. And then he fell through like the whole thing. And then I jumped down, and then I just stopped batting him on the head. And then he died properly then. But yeah, it's a good game though. That's my only criticism of it. But other than that, it's difficult. But
does it have the same sense of satisfaction as the From Software games when you defeat a boss like that?
Probably not. No, it's the From Software ones. It just feels like you. Yeah, it was.
So is it? Would you, if you were going to stick with it a long time, would you be more interested in the exploration and the platforming, or would you be more interested in the bosses?
I quite like the actual exploration and the platforming, but again, when you die just in the platforming as well, you just end up on. I'm guessing there's probably more because you end up. It's like a bench where you. That's what you like read. Where you get all your life back.
Respawn.
And at the moment, there's only one bench. There's probably more benches, but it's like right at the top. So you jump down into the bit because you're like up above it is like a town, and there's like a shop and stuff, and then you jump down into like I don't know, like the
like an underworld kind of thing.
Yeah, and then it puts you there. So sometimes you'll be there and you'll die, and you'll be miles away from where you were, and you have to like get back to where you were because otherwise you'll lose all the stuff you've got, all the money and stuff like that. But
it's a highly rated game. I'm just a grumpy old crappy gamer nowadays, so people shouldn't listen to me. I mean, I don't think it's a rubbish game. It's not a game for me. Yeah, but no, it's well loved, and I think the sequel is.
And I should say that was only one. That was the first boss, and it took me about 15 times. So I imagine it makes. So.
And if you haven't got time for Starfield, you probably haven't got time for that either.
Yeah. So now we've started Starfield. I can imagine it's going to probably take aside. Anyway.
Well, I mean, I've been playing a few things this week. I've completed the Plucky Squire, which highly recommend again. Basically, yeah, a platformer puzzle, takes inspiration from Zelda. It's a fun story, great for kids, great for adults as well. It's got some quite tough mini games at the end. So it gives you some mini games throughout the game, and the last boss has all the mini games in one, and they were really hard. But there is an easy mode for kids, and you can skip any of the mini games, which I found out after I completed them when my 6-year-old was trying them and going, I'll just skip this one. What? You can't skip? And then he went into the pause menu. I'm like, oh, no, that's cheating. No. He was on story mode, so I was like, no, you're on the easy mode. And he'd only tried this mini game like twice. I'm like, no, just practice. And he got past it eventually. But great game. I've also just started playing the Alan Wake 2 DLC, Night Springs, which I've only played the first episode so far, which basically turned it into it was quite a bizarre thing with the waitress characters in the game, and you just go around shotgunning a load of people, and then you have a boss, and that's it. That's the end of the first episode of the DLC, but there's 2 other episodes, and I'll be playing them as well, hopefully, unless Starfield occupies me. Other than that, I haven't really been playing much. Just been seeing the news, though.
I know. We probably should get onto the news because there's quite a bit to go through. I don't know what you want to start with. I'll let you.
Well, I think Sony have been at it again. They've released a very good-looking 30th anniversary version of their PS5 and PS5 Pro. Well, the PS5 Pro one isn't out yet, but is coming out. £959.
It's about £41 of £1,000.
Yep. So, I mean, you get that the PS5 Pro, you get that a DualSense Edge controller. These are all limited edition grey, like the PS1 colour. A normal DualSense controller, DualSense charging station, a limited edition console cover for the disc drive. So you don't get the disc drive for the PS5 Pro. You just get the cover for it. So you get a vertical stand, and then you get some stuff. Like, I think there's a sticker, a poster, and drum roll, a paper clip.
I know. I'm so got it. And there's only 12,300 globally.
The paper clip I think looks like it just. I can't see
not the paper clip. I don't know how many paper clips. I'm assuming there's also 12,300 paper clips, but but in this bundle there's only 12,300. You'd think 959
pounds. Yeah,
it would prevent people. People will be reluctant to pay that amount, but they sold out in minutes. So if you really did want one, and you didn't manage to get one, then
you can get a PS5 one, normal one. That was £433. You might think, oh, that's really good. No, because it's a digital one, which you can get for £40 less. I'm sure
they'll be coming to you on an eBay or Facebook Market.
If you want to play double that, just look on eBay. No, I think eBay have cut down on allowing people to resell pre-sales, but I'm sure when it comes out on the 21st of November, the day people get them, they'll be up on eBay. I would guess people will start
at an inflated rate.
Yeah, they'll be starting off at £1,500 probably.
Because they've limited the number globally, people.
Yeah, and the thing is, there'll probably be another one, and then another one, and another one. So,
okay. If you did manage to get one, then well done.
And you obviously have plenty of money.
You're going to get yourself a limited edition, and I guess you keep it boxed up if you're one of those people. If you already have a PS5, and keep it boxed up, and probably in years to come,
Yeah, exactly.
little investment, haven't you?
I mean, the PS5 Pro without the vertical stand is £700. So
£250.
the PS the DualSense Edge, I believe, I think is about £200. Oh yeah, I'll just look, £210. So you're not being ripped off,
No.
but it's still, like you said, it's £40 off £1,000. That's a lot of money. And the vertical stand for the PS5 is £25. But if you want the disc drive, that's another £100. So £1,060 for a disc PS5 Pro 30th anniversary limited edition. Yeah. Now, for that kind of money, I think I'd just build a PC. You'd still only get a mid to low range one for that much, but you'd get one that would be okay for a good few years, easily as long as a PS5 is going to be valid for, kind of thing.
I think people are buying this probably aren't just buying it because they want the console.
They don't want a PS5, do they? Well, some might, but
some might. Likely. Some might be buying it because they want to just sell it on and make a quick profit. Some might be buying it because they just want it because there's only 12,300 globally, and they just.
Oh, here you go. I've found a few pre-sales. Some people are selling it for less than the. If you're on eBay and somebody is selling something that is £960 and they're selling it for less than that, even if it's a bidding auction, don't bid for that because it's most likely a scam. But yeah, here's one that looks relatively real because they've got a decent score, a decent rating, and they're selling it for £1,100. So already sticking £140 on it. And that's just for the pre-sale as well.
I'm just having a look on Facebook Marketplace, and I've seen one for $850. You can buy the PS5 Slim. Oh, that's not even the Pro. That's just the PS5 Slim 30th edition. £850. You can buy that.
That's double the price, pretty much.
Yeah, they've got the price on there. 43399 is what they paid for it, and they're selling it on for $850. So.
Yeah, don't. If nobody buys it, they won't sell it for that much.
They'll be stuck with it then, won't they?
Yeah. No, me personally, I just think if you're going to spend £1,000 on a console, you might as well buy a PC. Get a second-hand, higher-end one, or a decent medium to medium-low PC you'll be able to get. Maybe get a couple of second-hand parts or something, and you'd be able to get for £1,000 easily. If you haven't got to buy a monitor or TV or whatever, £1,000 would get you something that will do most things quite well, and we'll play pretty much anything. So it confuses me as to how much money people have, but people have more money than me. A lot of people have more money than me.
I think for most people who are getting it, they probably have those PCs. They probably got a PS5 and they just want it because it's.
The thing is, we do get a lot on Gaming Dads that group that we're both in, that post about I don't know whether to buy this because money's tight, and they'll be talking about things like the DualSense Edge, or buy the PlayStation Portal because they want to play it in bed. I'm like, if money's tight, don't buy that. You don't need it. I can understand if you've only got a PS5 or you've only got this or you've only got that and you've got nothing else to play on and you're a gamer, don't sell everything because they're good for your mental health. They're whatever. But if you've already got something and you've got no money, you don't need lots of other stuff. So
if I was really tight on money and I really wanted a console or whatever, or just, and I had if I had a PS5 and a controller and I was really tight of money, I wouldn't be thinking, you know what, I need a PS5 Edge controller.
Or one that's grey. I need another one that's grey.
So, but
each of their own. And if you've got plenty of money, go ahead. There's nothing wrong with the PS5 Pro. The tech is fine. The tech is sound. The tech is worth the money. But it is a sign of things to come, I think. I think the next generation, whether it is the home console just has Sony in it, and everybody else does handheld hybrids. I think your 600 to 1,000 is going to be your standard.
I did see a rumor about the PS6 that it was going to have a handheld element as well. The PS6.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's been all sorts of rumors recently. Obviously, the big one is that everyone thinks will be coming at some point is that Xbox have got a handheld coming. But yes, we talked about the Sony ones and they're going to be coming back into the handheld market. They've just got to do it properly again. You know, their previous ones have either been supported poorly or have been easily hacked. And the only reason why Nintendo does really well is because they have such strong first-party games that appeal to everybody, even non-gamers. Because could you imagine a handheld having whether it's Xbox having Halo, Grand Theft Auto, and whatnot isn't going to appeal to your average soccer mom, is it? That's buying for their little 9-year-old. The 9-year-old might want it, but the mom's going to go, no, we can get this Nintendo one that's got Super Mario and all these cutesy things. So, yeah, they've got to support it well.
Yeah.
So, there has also been the Meta Connect this week, and they announced quite a few things. We're going to talk about it more when Tom's back, I think, because he wants to talk about the holographic glasses. But the one thing that I was looking forward to, they did announce, and they surpassed my expectations, was the Meta Quest 3S. And if you don't know, it's the same system on a chip as the Meta Quest 3. It's got a slightly low resolution screen. The depth perception is not quite as good as on the Meta Quest 3, but it's got controls. Me and Tom's heard a rumor that there wasn't going to be controllers; it was going to be hands only. But there are controllers, and it's coming at £290.
I know. I was just as you were speaking, I googled it.
Yeah, it's
£289.99, and it's out on the 6th of October, isn't it?
Yep. And I'm so tempted to get it. I'm so tempted. But money's not tight, but because I am changing career at the moment, money is being spent elsewhere. So
funny how we were just literally having a conversation about money, and now
I mean, I could spend £290 on so many useful things, but equally, I could have a 3S for £290. And apparently, it comes with a copy of Batman: Arkham Shadow as well. And yeah, so I think it has the appeal. I think to push it into even more homes VR, because they are sunsetting the Quest 2 because of the price and whatnot. So if you want a Quest 2, which don't buy a Quest 2 because they're only going to be selling off stock now. Although keep an eye out for, because they might sell off stock to get rid of it. So you might find maybe even up to sort of half price sales. The Quest 2 is still a great piece of kit, don't get me wrong. But if you're going to pay £280 or whatever the Quest 2 is, then wait a week and you'll get the Quest 3S for £10 more. My stepson had his Quest 2 replaced recently because one of the controllers stopped working, and they said send the whole thing in, and we just used the refund to buy another one. That was only about a month ago. I said to him today, I was like, "You see the Quest 3? If you just waited a month." But that's the risk you take by buying these tech things. It looks great. I mean, you'll be able to play all the Quest 3 only things like Hitman VR and the Batman Arkham Shadow game. Hitman is the one I'm looking forward to. Apparently, it's a bit rough, the Hitman 3 Quest version, but they'll patch it and make it work a bit better. And yeah, very much looking forward to that. If I get it, that's if I get it, which I'm probably not. Well, not until Christmas anyway. We'll see if there's any Christmas sales. Can save up. So that was Met Connect. Other than that, any other news there was this week? I don't particularly think there was.
There was the Tokyo Game Show, but nothing really much.
No, nothing major. Xbox made a push for Game Pass by releasing 3 very Japanese-centric games. Katamari Damacy Reroll King, this, that, the other version, whatever. It's basically Katamari Damacy. And yeah, that's fantastic game. It's on Game Pass now. And then there was the Trials of Mana remake and the Legend of Mana remaster, I think. So it's still got the SNES style graphics. But the Trials of Mana is a remake from about 10 years ago, something like that. But it's now on Xbox or something. So they released those as a bit of a surprise and put them on Game Pass, which was obviously trying to appeal to the Japanese market for Game Pass, because they've never taken to Xbox Japanese market. But maybe they can, if they take to Game Pass, then that's another market that the Game Pass will be strong in. So hopefully we'll get more of these Japanese JRPGs. I quite like a few of them. I don't have the time to get into them nowadays necessarily. I tried to get into the Ayudin Chronicles, remember that? And I did enjoy it. I could only play for a few minutes at a time because I was really busy. So eventually I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. There are certain sections where you can't save for a long time, and I had to just hope that quick resume would work. But yeah, no. So there you go. That's about the news from this week.
Yeah.
So we were going to talk about mobile games, and it's a difficult one because it's always looked down upon, mobile gaming, isn't it, by what people call hardcore gamers, because traditionally, I mean, you've had things like what most people think of video games on phones is Farmville and Candy Crush Saga.
Yeah, I think if people, think of, people who aren't gamers who play it, because it obviously everyone has I'd say everyone, 99.9% of people have a mobile phone, don't they? So
yeah, in a lot of countries, pretty much everybody has some kind of touch screen in their pocket. But I looked up the stats, and the money from mobile gaming dwarfs console and PC gaming. Even console and PC gaming added together still doesn't beat it. It's still quite a few billion away. It was something like 130 billion, 120 billion. Mobile gaming, and PC gaming was about 40 billion, and console was something like 60 or 70 billion.
That's a big market, then. If you can the game, that goes off. You want to make a lot. What was the first sort of experience of mobile gaming
Oh well, I mean, I'm old, so Snake probably wasn't the first game I played, but it was the first arcade style game that I played. Probably, well, one of the first, because before that, games were more text based, so you'd have things like Hangman or like a quiz or something like that. And so there wasn't really the arcade games, and then they tried putting basic games on, like there'd be a Space Invaders style game or something very basic, like your Game and Watch style games, that thing. But then Snake came out, so I think it was the 6110 first, but on the 3210 was the big phone that everyone remembered it on, and it played really well, and it's so basic but so addictive. I remember getting it on the lower levels. I could get it so you could just fill up the screen, and it would take about 10 minutes to get to each dot, because you just have to go like turn up to the top of the screen, turn down, turn up, and do that for the whole screen.
That's my first game was Snake, and I remember at primary school was when I had and that would be sort of, you would talk to your friends, and pretty much everyone in your class would all have 3210. And the main reason people would have the 3210, especially at that age, maybe it'd be a bit different when you're a bit older, but at that age was because you just wanted to play Snake. You'd go in, you'd say, "Oh, I've got new high score," and then you'd all try and well, you wouldn't be at school because you wouldn't be taking your phone to school, but after school you would be sort of talking about your high school Snake, and then people would do it differently. Some people would have it really slow, but then their Snake would get really big, and their score wouldn't be very high because you get less points when it was slow. Whereas some people would do it really quick, where it's a bit more difficult, but you could build up your points quicker, and your Snake would be. So there was different, and then people would have it in the middle. So
I mean, I can't say I ever particularly had it at the super speeds. You occasionally you'd have a go at the highest speed on the Nokia version, and it would just go straight to the edge of the screen.
Because also the pad.
It wasn't great.
Wasn't the biggest, wasn't it? So you're trying to there with your thumbs, and you're hitting the wrong one and going into. And
then they brought out Snake 2, which basically was exactly the same, but it had a little actual graphical sort of thing to the snake. So
you could select mazes, couldn't you?
And then it also brought out the fact that you could go through the edge of the screen.
Yeah, whereas the original one
you couldn't. Yeah, and so you could have either the borders or not the borders, and or the bits that would, you'd have to go around the walls, kind of thing. I mean, it was fantastic. I mean, it was like Tetris in the fact that it was just so simple, but so good. And like Tetris that you do, you like you said, you go to your friends. Oh, I got 214. They'd be like, oh, I got 280. You go, what?
Yeah, and you'd have your little list of high scores, and you'd show off to each other what you've got. But I don't know about other countries, but in the UK, late 90s, early 2000s, the Nokia was the biggest brand by far, wasn't it? And I mean, they even brought out the Nokia N-Gage. They
oh god,
on it, didn't they?
Terrible,
never took
terrible. That was when they were on their way out. That was though. I mean, the Nokia name now is not what it used to be. It's been sold on about 10 times, I think, since then. But I mean, there were people bought Nokia phones because they knew it had Snake on, so it made them one of the biggest tech companies in the world. People who are probably under 25 years old probably would be like, "What? Nokia? Barely even register as a company now." But they were pretty much one of the biggest tech companies in the world.
Everyone I knew had a Nokia.
It's like Sony Ericsson. They were, before they split, had a unhappy divorce, I think. Ericsson were huge as well. But no, yeah, I mean the games that I remember as well, like the non-Farmville kind of games. I remember I think it was first on maybe iPhone 4, was a game called Infinity Blade. That was the first game that made me go, wow, and made me think that console level graphics could be on, because 2010 was Xbox 360 and PS3 era, and then there was this game that pretty much, although it was very restricted in its how the graphics would work, the graphics were as good as, if not better than, some of those games on a small screen. And it was basically one where you had to swipe on a character to chop it with your sword, and you had to dodge by tapping on the side of the screen or something like that. And you could choose directions you go all the way through. And then you had a boss that you had to fight, and it was called Infinity Blade because when you killed them or died, you had to restart. And it counted how many times you restart. I think in the end there was a Infinity Blade 3, I think, on iOS. But yeah, they were all games that showed off the how good the graphics were.
Yeah, because before our smartphones, you were just restricted to what was built in the game. So everyone played Snake because it was built in the Nokia. And I know there was a period where you could buy games, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could. You got to colour screens. Yeah, there was Symbian OS, which was what a lot of Nokia phones used. I had that on the Nokia N95, and I had quite a few games.
And then when smartphones came out, that's when you had your ever big, like, Angry Birds, for example.
Oh, Angry Birds.
So big that they even have a film.
Yeah, there's 2 movies. I think there might be a TV show as well. Probably. Not sure, but it's spawned so long. Well, they're part of Rovio, aren't they? So I don't know. Rovio being brought out as well? Because I'm just trying to look up. But because I know there was 3 big ones, like 2010s companies. There was Rovio because of Angry Birds, and I'm just looking up. Are they being acquired? Sega. Oh yes, yeah, they were bought by Sega last year. Rovio. So Angry Birds is now a Sega IP. So they were bought for $776 million in August 2023. Now, that might seem like a lot of money for a game company that pretty much only has one IP that makes it famous. But then Zynga, who did things like Farmville and not Candy Crush Saga. Oh, but anyway, Zynga are probably the biggest mobile company in the world. Were bought for $12 billion in 2022, and they were bought by Take-Two, who obviously own your Rockstar Entertainment, so GTA and all that kind of thing. Says $12 billion, and then of course we've got King, who own Candy Crush, who were part of the $69 billion in Microsoft takeover. So
I know you think, like, you can see how they make their money because their games never end. They just keep going, and
you could buy very small things. You could buy a little bit of premium currency for 99p or £1.99.
All lives, isn't it? Like I played Candy Crush. I don't play it anymore, but I used to play it. And there'll be a level and you really want to get past it, and you'd use up your lives, and it's really tempting to be like, oh, I'll just put in like £1.
Yeah, do you spend money?
I didn't. No, I didn't actually, but I can there were times where I was close to doing it, and if I know there would be other people who would definitely. I had a friend who was, I don't know what level he's on. I don't know. He still plays Candy Crush, but he was like, I was like level 200 or whatever, and he'd be on like 7,000 or something. Because and I know he would spend money like on lives because he would would be on a lunch at work, and he'll just be there on Candy Crush.
I mean, Candy Crush. I broke somebody's obsession with that one time because what I did was I downloaded a modded version. And the modded version, what you could do is basically pick a level. You can just go to any level you want and do that level. You can get things where it'll automatically give you like a score of, the maximum score, like 2.5 million or something like that. You can have as many goes as you want or whatever. So all you got to do is complete the level, and hey presto, it says you complete the level by 2.5 million. The normal score is like, I don't know, 40,000 or something. And so there was it was an ex of mine, and she was constantly on it, and I was just like, just put it down occasionally. So what I did, I got a modded version, and I just found out what level she was on, and just went ahead of her, and just went on about the next 50 levels, completed them with maximum scores. So every time she completed it, came up with Duncan first with 2.5 million, and her score would be second. She'd be like, and eventually she gave up because I just annoyed the hell out of her.
You have my partner, probably the most reluctant and not anti-gamer. She doesn't, but she's somebody who never, and she doesn't actually anymore. But she used to play it was like Candy Crush, but like a puppy version. And she would sort of just be there in the evening. And instead of now, she's replaced it with watching top TikTok videos. So I probably would rather be playing this puppy game. It was like a knockoff version of Candy Crush, where it's like you just had to.
There was was it Pet Rescue Saga?
It might have been that, yeah. Might have been
that's also by King.
Very similar.
That's still available. That's 12 years old now, if it is that.
Yeah.
There's various Candy Crush. I mean, there hasn't been a Candy Crush release since 2018. And that was Candy Crush Friends Saga. But they're all still available. And so the very first one came out 2012 alongside Bubble Witch Saga, which is discontinued, but a sequel came out.
Yes. The mobile games that you play currently, Duncan?
Yeah, I mean, I find it confusing that they make so much money, because I'm really averse to spending money for. I don't mind watching an advert here and there to help support developer and everything, but I'm quite happy to go, oh, you want me to wait 12 hours for my lives to refresh? Okay, all right. So I very rarely spend any money on games. So I generally don't play things up. But I am playing a game at the moment called Peekaphone, and it's quite good. It's almost a puzzle game in a way, but you basically have somebody's phone interface, and you have to read their messages. And it's not a real person, obviously; it's all scripted. You have to read their messages and find clues to unlock various things like their passwords on various apps, and to find out where they are. There's a story behind it. That's quite good. It's like a mystery game, but you might read a message and it says, oh, blah, blah, I've got to check my password, but I can't check my emails, but I can't remember my password in their messages. And somebody will say, oh, don't forget, it was your birthday. And then you have to go onto their social media thing, and it will say, oh, happy birthday. And you look at the date and that kind of thing. So you don't know the password. But yeah, that's really good. It seems like
when you said Peekaphone, it reminded me of Pikachu, and then that then reminded me of Pokemon Go, which was
yes, yeah. I've always liked the GPS games. I don't, because the people who make Pokemon Go, Niantic, were making GPS games for a good few years before Pokemon Go, and I've liked quite a few of them. Years and years ago, there was one called Foursquare, which technically is still around, but isn't the same as it was. But that was, you would basically own places by checking in there. And the more you checked in, the more of a grip you had on that place. So if you stopped for a couple of days checking in on something, somebody else could come in and check in more and end up getting it off you. And so it's a very basic premise, similar to the GPS games now. But at the end of the day, I'm a fat, lazy git, so I can't be bothered to play them all nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, I've got a really old phone at the moment, so the only
Snake.
like Snake, yeah, or Doodle Jump are the ones that I.
That was a classic. That was a classic.
Before I had this game called Summoner's War.
Oh yes, yeah.
Which is, again, you can get a lot of games like this on the mobile, where you just have a monster or whatever, and then you try and get different monsters, and then you build them up, and you get runes to make them stronger.
You get new heroes,
and then they collaborate. Like they collaborated with Street Fighter, so you get like Street Fighter characters as your heroes, and they'd have the different star systems. And
these are the gacha kind of games, aren't they? That there's a lot of nowadays, and some of them are fantastic games.
You just click it, and obviously, depending on how strong your monsters are, you can.
The more you play, the stronger they get, the stronger you get, the more.
Yeah, you get more bigger rewards, the harder it is. But then,
but you have to play for longer. But you can speed that up by buying some premium currency.
Yes, yeah, you can do.
I mean, I bought things. I have bought things in the past, but generally, anybody who's got an Android phone, I don't know if there's an iOS equivalent, get the Google Rewards app. It's on. I think it's in a lot of countries now, but it's very literally. It's like one question things, and you might get 8 pence or 12 pence or whatever. Sometimes, and it uses location, so it's testing, how well their location tracking is working and all that kind of thing. So you do have to give up your location history or whatever, and let them do that. I don't care. I'm not going anywhere I shouldn't. So, but yeah, I generally use that to get free credit and buy things. What was the worst one I had? I was obsessed with Clash of the Clans for a while. And so I paid some on that for the premium currency because I was in a clan that quite a very active clan, and I just in the end I had to cold turkey it and just go nope and just deleted it, didn't play it. Occasionally I go back into it and I download it and go back into my world, which my base, which there's been so much added now that I'm not very high level, but I was quite a high level one. But I normally rearrange all my stuff to say help yourself. So people can attack me and get a load of stuff for free, basically. But yeah, no. So I have played games that basically want you to spend money, and that's all they are for. But no, I don't think I've spent my own actual cash that often in however long I've had a mobile phone, which is probably in the region of 26 years. I could probably. I've spent less than £100 in that time. Let's say that. That's been generous. I probably spent less than £50 in that time. But I do watch a lot of video ads, so I've made people money, so I'm not averse to that. I just don't like a lot of these shovelware games now that you get that are literally every 10 seconds you get a 30-second ad. It's one level, and the level takes 10 seconds to complete, and you get another advert. Yeah, no,
it's like watching another advert for X amount or something, and you're like.
Yeah. So you have to watch. You have to watch videos, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, this thing will take you 5 years to complete," or you could watch another 5 adverts, and it'll take you 20 seconds.
Yeah, because I had a championship manager game on my mobile, and again, it's free, so obviously they have to make money somehow, and they do it by adverts. And there wasn't anything where you could go and buy things or you could put your own money in. So it was just your advert. But you would play a game, and then you would have to watch an advert, and then it would be like, oh, for £1 million, do you want to watch an additional advert? And you're like, oh, what to do with that £1 million?
You see, they're basically pay to win, aren't they?
Watching adverts rather than actually playing the game. So, and then you watch enough adverts, and you have like so much money that you can just buy every player in the game, and it becomes like a really easy game. But
there are some games I've heard about that where they will say there are no adverts, and they'll say that there's no adverts unless you want a boost. What's it go? Merge Gardens, I think, is a big one. That because I don't believe the adverts. Obviously, you get in a lot of other games that say, "Hey, play this game and you'll win $5,000 in the first few minutes." No, you won't. They're just scams. But no, there are some games out there. I think there was one called Merge Gardens, which, if you don't want to, there are no adverts at all. There's no spending. You don't have to pay any money. It's just that to do one particular thing might take you a week of going in the game and playing the game. So yeah, but nowadays there are some games that I mean, even 5 years ago, well, maybe 10 years ago, would have dreamed to be on phones, because you can get. I mean, Epic Store. They've just released a mobile store, which you can get the full Fortnite experience, the full Fall Guys experience, and your favourite Rocket League. But it is Rocket League Sideswipe, I want to say. I think it's called.
I have played a Rocket League on the phone, and it's not as good.
It's like it's a 2.5D. It's in a 3D world, but it works as a 2D game, I think, doesn't it?
I can't remember, to be fair. It was a while ago when I played it.
It's not really,
I found it's not difficult, but
unlike the other two games, it's not the full experience.
Yeah, I didn't give it really much of a chance, but I didn't really. I found it pretty hard.
But you can get on phones now. I think on pretty much any Android or iOS, I want to say mid-range to high-end phones, you can get Call of Duty. You can get Call of Duty Warzone. You can get Alien Isolation on iOS. You can get Resident Evil 7 on iOS. You can. There's the games like Genshin Impact, which gets bigger and bigger with a completely open world and puzzles and whatnot. And what's the other one that's similar to that? It's got a stupid name. Honkai Star Rail, I think, is another big one, where you just, the basic game is trying to collect different characters, your gacha games, and they would look good on a PC or a console. And well, Genshin Impact and all these games are on PS5, Xbox, and whatnot. It's a good time for mobile gaming, but personally, I don't want things like Resident Evil 7 on my phone.
No, you'd rather have it on your Steam Deck, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's got to be a controller. Alien Isolation. I don't want touch screen controls. At the end of the day, they block half of the screen, so if something jumps out, I'd be like, "Oh, okay, well, you're behind my fingers at the moment, so you're not very scary." I do want the quick games like your Candy Crush. I do want a word game, or bingo or Scrabble or something.
Wordle.
Yeah, that I can play for 30 seconds, 5 minutes. I can sit on the toilet, play a game, finish on the toilet, and that's it. So I don't think the future is with mobile phones, or cell phones as the Americans call them. I don't think the future is things like Resident Evil 7. I think that's them doing a tech test.
Yeah. I think if you're a gamer, you'll have a phone and a console. And people who don't game aren't my partner, for example, isn't going to get Resident Evil on her phone. She's
and even the sort of the cutesy looking ones, the Genshin Impacts and whatnot. Your non-gamers couldn't care less about that. If I show my wife Genshin Impact, she'd be like, "Oh, yeah, whatever," but I don't care. Whereas she has to stop playing a lot of these games like Candy Crush because she just gets. Or what was it she likes? She likes the cooking games. Like your ones where you have to. They're like time management games where you have to cook 4 or 5 burgers while pouring a drink and putting icing on a cake and then serving it out.
What, like Overcooked?
It's sort of, they're like 2D games. So somebody walks in and they'll have a little speech bubble that says burger and drink, and you have to cook the burger, put all the like cheese and lettuce on it, and then serve it to them before they get angry. So it's sort of like a 2D Overcooked kind of thing. But yeah, she loves those kind of games. But again, she can sit on the toilet and play it for a few minutes.
Some games though that also have utilized mobile. So like I had the last FIFA or EA, and I think probably the current one, which I don't have. They have a app that goes with the game.
Yeah, so, they're always helpful, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, that I did like that, but it just meant though that you would go on it because it was linked to your Ultimate Team. Essentially, that's what the app was for. So you could go and buy packs when you're not on the game.
Sitting at work.
Challenges when you're there. You could like open pack. So yeah, I used to go on it, at work, and I'd be like log into it or whatever, and it was like a companion app, they called it.
Yeah. I'm just looking it up. There's a companion app. It's called the AFC 25. I don't know whether that's for all of the FIFAs, but yeah, obviously FC 25 is out. So I think
use FIFA points on it. You could only buy packs with coins, which was probably a good thing because FIFA points is where you're using your actual money. So at least they restricted it. So they
But also they have to sell. They have to give 30% to Google or Apple.
They would have. You would have thought that they would have been trying to encourage people to try and spend money while they're on the app, but you can't actually do that. So you can only you can buy packs, but only with coins which you earn by playing the game. So
okay.
And you go on the transfer market, you can buy players, you can sell players. So yeah, you could do quite a lot on it. You can obviously play the game on it, but
yeah, I mean you could get EA Sports FC game as well.
You get I saw some people because it gets to a certain point near the end of the game cycle on EA where it gets really easy to build a really good team because not many people are playing it, so they're giving away sort of. There's some people who just got the app and not got the game, and they were able to build like a really good by just going in and doing squad builder challenges essentially, and like buying bronze packs and selling the players on for profit, and then they were like able to
Imagine not playing a game, and I mean, then again, I own so many freebies for games that I'll never play. I think today I was claiming perks for having Game Pass Ultimate for X Defiant. There was a pack that was normally £9 and they are offering for free. I've got loads of stuff for Multiversus. I think they have something from that pretty much every week, and I always claim it. It's like that. Amazon Gaming. They give away so many. They've stopped giving away like bonuses, like for DLC and all that. It's more just about the free games now. But they used to, and I got so many things for games that I logged in. Like normally, I play the EA football games only when they come on EA Play, so it's normally about a year after they come out. So I think, EA FC 24 came onto EA Play a couple of months ago.
I was playing it on Game Pass.
Yeah, and I opened it up, and I'm like, oh, and I had about 20 packs. There were some of them because I played previous ones. It was like, oh, you played FIFA 23. Here's a pack. But most of them were freebies from Amazon, from Ultimate Game Pass Ultimate, and so I had pretty much a full team of special cards before I'd even played a game. Most of them were loans, though. So, but I mean, I don't know if you found it with the AFC 24, and they've turned Ultimate Team into more sort of you'll have hundreds and hundreds of players, but yeah, it's about like the squad building, and you won't get the top ones, but
you could build a very good team.
Yeah,
but
I can have a team that are all rated 92 and 93, and I've played maybe 20 games.
But if you really want those elite cards,
exactly, that's the one. It's the trying to get the team of the year and team of the season, that kind of those ones, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I think you could get a Messi, or was it? Yeah, I think a Messi card that's 99.
99, the 99 Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, and then you've got like the old Ronaldo Brazilian one.
Yeah.
So they're like the ones which are, but yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
phone
companion apps are always. It's a bit like having a DS, really, or 3DS, because you have a second screen. But the problem is, most of the time they're like a secondary concern. So they normally came out. Ubisoft tried to do it with quite a few of their games, and generally they just didn't work very well. The only one that I think I did use quite a lot was when GTA 5 first came out. It had a companion app that had the map and various good things on it, but even that wasn't particularly great. Maybe they're better nowadays, because I haven't actually used the companion app for quite a long time, because I'm old. So blimey, we've talked about mobile games for quite a long time, right? So hopefully next week we'll talk a bit more about the meta, the gaming possibilities of the holographic glasses, and I'll be talking about 3S more, because I want it, and I want to convince myself that I really need to get it. Just got to talk to the wife about getting it
out soon. It'll be out. Well, be out this time.
It'll be out next by the time the next episode is out. Yeah. By the time this episode is out, the Shat Space DLC is out, and by the time the next episode is out, the Quest 3S will be out. So if you are getting one, let us know how it is, and we'll give you a mention on the podcast. Right.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. And on that note, bye.
Bye.